Hello guys and girls, Voices from the Dark here. Welcome back to more Steins Gate at last. These next few parts are going to be super exciting. How do I know that? I played for 90 minutes and the video got corrupted, meaning I have to replay it. And there was just so much stuff in my reactions. There were things that you can't redo. When you react to something, you can't react to it, you know? Then it's just fake and staged. So I know what'll happen now for a little while forward, for the next 90 minutes or so. So if I don't seem surprised at any turn of events, that's because I'm not. It sucks it has to be this way. Replaying is probably the worst feeling for a Let's Player ever. But it's what has to happen. But what I can tell you is that you're in for a very, very good time. I can say that at least. It's midnight, and Akiba is practically empty. The silence is eerie. There's no sign of anyone near the coin locker. Considering the IBN 5100's size, it couldn't fit in the regular sized lockers. She must have put it in one of the 3 large lockers on the right. The light's on! The bottom locker is still in use. Is the IBN 5100 inside? My heart starts pounding in my chest. I can feel my face grow hot with excitement. We've been apart for far too long, my partner, but now only a thin locker door separates us. Is this what love feels like? Wow. Let's not go crazy. I forced myself to consider the situation calmly. Is the IBN 5100 really inside? I want to check right this instant. I can't believe I forgot to ask Moeka which locker she used. Should I get a crowbar or something to pry the locker open? If the IBN 5100 really is inside, and I steal it, what will happen to the world line? I have yet to cancel all of the D-mails, which I thought was the only way to restore the original world line. But now the IBN 5100 is so close, why can't I just reach out and take it? I know how to cancel Moeka's D-mail, so I can always do that if this doesn't work. Let's try it, just to make sure. First, I make a quick visit to the lab. Ignoring the complaints of the lab mems who stayed awake in the lab all night, I retrieve a makeshift crowbar from the development room. Then I return to the lockers and thrust the pointed tip of the crowbar into the crack of the door. Oops. Dots! Just as I begin to pry, a shrill siren shatters the night. I look up to see the red lights of a patrol car coming this way. Their timing couldn't be worse. The police release me after about 30 minutes of scolding. I return to the coin locker and try to pry it open again. Immediately another patrol car appears. This time they take me to the police station. I'm stuck in an interrogation room all night, getting preached to by policemen. I conclude that this is another effect of attractor field convergence. No matter what I do, I cannot obtain an IBN 5100 on this world line. That is what fate has decreed. I get the police to call my father and they finally release me. They didn't go as far as to arrest me, but the policeman, as well as my father, scold me harshly. I act apologetic, but in actuality their words fall on deaf ears. After my father goes home, I head straight to Moeka's apartment. I tried calling her. I took the opportunity to memorize her phone number yesterday, but she wouldn't pick up at all. Before I get there, I send a mail to Daru, asking him to check if the coin locker is still occupied. The door to Moeka's apartment is unlocked. I find Moeka hugging her knees in the corner, just like she was when I first found her. You put the IBN 5100 in the bottom right locker, correct? How? Hold on. Check, the big locker on the lower right is in use. What's this about anyway? Don't make me your errand boy so early in the morning, fool. Sorry, Dario. Something just has to be done. Out of all the lockers, only 3 could hold the IBN 5100. Out of those 3, only the bottom one was in use. If that's the same one you used, then FB hasn't picked it up yet. Do you know what that means? Moeka frowns. It means that if we stake out the locker, you'll get to meet FB. Ah. It hadn't occurred to you. Some secret agent you are. That's... I'm headed there now. You coming? That's... What will you do if you meet her? Borrow her phone. That's the best way to prevent Moeka from going to Yanabayashi Shrine. I can't meet her. I'm too afraid. The real me could never live up to her expectations. Something tells me her expectations were never that high to begin with. Moeka's face contorts again. I'm being blunt. Not only because Moeka is Mayuri's murderer, but also because Moeka's weakness is starting to get on my nerves. Just like Daru's mail said, the locker is still occupied when I get there. I look around to make sure there are no patrol cars. No crowbars this time. I don't feel like getting arrested. I head across the street to Daibiru, hide behind one of its humongous pillars and begin the stakeout. My legs are getting tired. I was going to borrow Mayuri's portable game console, but I decided I didn't need the distraction. Still, it's pretty tough to keep standing like this. I also need to stay inconspicuous. Someone might notice if they see me standing in the same place for hours. Wouldn't want a security guard to give me trouble. I mean, I guess there's not much worry about that. I've already been here for 7 hours without incident. My legs are numb, so I squat and lean against a pillar. So hungry. I'd love to go get some food, but I can't take my eyes off the locker. Just then, somebody taps me on the shoulder. FB? I try to leap to my feet, but my legs get tangled and I fall over. That's... Moeka is standing there, looking down at me with those glassy eyes. What are you doing here? I'll keep watch too. Is that okay? Why the change of heart? That's... I stand up and dust off my clothes. You were comfortable with your male-only relationship, weren't you? I thought you wanted to maintain that distance. So what made you decide to risk a meeting? At this rate... Moeka puts her head on her knees. She looks ready to cry. I've seen that expression once before, in her moonlit apartment. If I lose contact with FB, I'll lose my connection. To the world? Moeka nods faintly. You can't bear to be alone yourself, yet you'd end an innocent girl's life because some person you never met told you to. A cultist, that's what you are. And her cult leader, FB, abused her weakness before throwing her out like old clothes. It pisses me off. FB's cruelty, Moeka's weakness. I can't decide which I hate more. Then Moeka nervously brings out a convenience store bag. What's this? That's... Instead of answering, Moeka looks away. I look inside. Whoa! Milk and bean buns! My favorite! Exactly what you need in a stakeout. Okay, Moeka gets a few points in my book for that move. There's enough for 2. You brought this for me? Moeka nods. Very well, you may join the stakeouts. Now we can take turns watching, and we'll also look less suspicious to passersby. The night draws on, and still no sign of FB. We nap in 1-hour shifts, but it doesn't help the exhaustion. On top of that, I don't have anyone to talk to. Moeka can't keep a conversation going, so there's nothing I can do to stave off boredom. I went back to the lab to shower just before dawn, but Kurisu, who was working an all-nighter on the time leap machine, just glared at me. The wait finally ends just after 1 PM on the 13th. Someone comes to open the lower right locker. We watch from behind the pillar. It's a nondescript, middle-aged man. He's dressed in a new suit, but it hangs rather poorly on him, as if he's not used to wearing it. Is that FB? Moeka shakes her head firmly. FB is a woman. So, maybe she hired someone to pick it up. I mean, that's what... If I was in FB's shoes, I wouldn't go get it myself. I would get other people to do it for me. Or could it be someone from the locker company here to clear it after weeks overdue? That would make us all idiots. Moeka, FB, and me. The man has the key to the locker. He pays the late fee with 100 yen coins, then removes the cardboard box with the IBN 5100 inside. The man thought ahead and brought a pushcart. He puts the IBN 5100 onto the pushcart with a bit of effort and begins walking away. Follow him! The man heads straight for Akihabara Station. Strangely enough, he walks up to an overweight man standing in front of the ticket machine. The overweight man is wearing a t-shirt and has all the signs of an otaku. He doesn't seem to have anything in common with the first guy, who looks like an average salaryman. They transfer the IBN 5100 into the overweight man's suitcase. After they exchange a few words, the overweight man enters the station alone, then the guy in the suit leaves. Weird. What was the purpose of that transfer? Is the overweight man FB? Or is it just another link in some kind of chain? At any rate, if we keep following the IBN 5100, we should reach FB eventually. We enter the station. The overweight man boards the Yamanote line. We board on the next car and keep watch through the connecting door. It's a weekday afternoon, so there aren't many passengers. 30 minutes later, we arrive at Shinjuku Station. Here, the train sees a sharp increase in passenger traffic. He's getting off. Sorry, my voice was a little manly there. He's getting off. Moeka pulls on my sleeve. The overweight man has slipped into the stream of departing passengers. He's about to exit onto the platform. We follow him, but due to our slow reaction, we have to push our way through the boarding passengers. The train doors close and it slowly departs. The man starts walking towards the exit. Shinjuku is crowded, so we have to follow close behind or we'll lose him. But then I stop in my tracks. What? The man is empty-handed. His suitcase is missing. What? For a second I think we followed the wrong man, but no, it's definitely him. We watched him the whole time he was on the train. There's no doubt he had the suitcase when the train arrived in Shinjuku. Could he have passed it to someone else in the crowd? Clever. They know how to lose a tail. Well, good thing we have a thing called a time machine. Ooh, rereading. Sorry. I return to the lab and leap an hour back. I found myself inside the train. I know it's bad manners to use my phone on the train, but this is an emergency, goddammit! According to the train's display, we're about to leave Utsuka for Ikebukuro, 3 stops to Shinjuku. Moeka's next to me, acting inconspicuous. I peek at the overweight man in the next car. They'll make their move at Shinjuku. That guy's gonna get off, but he actually hands the package to someone else. He got us good just now. Just now? It doesn't look like Moeka's caught on yet. I just time-leaped from an hour in the future. Time-leaped? Moeka's eyes widen. The train arrives at Shinjuku on schedule. Just to make sure, I'll have Moeka follow the man when he gets off. Before the doors open, I stealthily move to his car. He still has the suitcase with the IBN 5100.
No arriving at Shinjuku.
The doors open and passengers spew out. The overweight man leaves too, just like last time. However, I knew it! He leaves the suitcase on the train. And now, passengers from Shinjuku board. Someone walks up to the abandoned suitcase. It's a woman in her 30s pushing a baby stroller. There's no baby. The woman casually loads the suitcase into her stroller and sits down. After witnessing that scene, I return to the neighboring car. I need to be careful. These guys are serious about avoiding pursuit. The train starts moving. I contact Moeka so we can regroup later. After that incident, the package swaps couriers like a hot potato, snaking around the tracks that run through Tokyo like a web. Whenever they give me the slip, I time leap and resume the chase. Finally, the courier and package get aboard the Hibiya line and return to Akihabara Station, where it all began. I recognize the last courier. He's one of the men who raided the lab with Moeka. Dark skin, crew cut, the one who hit me with his gun. The man easily carries the 25-kilo package out of the station. We follow. A car honks its horn. Moeka and I immediately hide. Peering out from cover, I see a white flatbed parked in front of the station. A muscular man hops out of the driver's seat. What? I know that face. No, it can't be! I desperately try to organize my thoughts. That's Tanusha Yugo, owner of the Braun Tube Workshop. Mr. Braun. Why? Why is he here? Does this mean he's connected to FB? To the Rounders? Was the Braun tube workshop just a front for CERN? Is that how we could afford to keep it open? What's going on here? His shop is right below the lab. If he's working for the enemy, then... I shiver at the thought. Stop. Let's not rush to conclusions. He might just be another courier. We watch from a distance. Tanushi takes a suitcase from the crew-cut man and loads it into the back seat of his car. Then he gets into the car alone and takes off towards Showadori. I stare after it in disbelief. Well, how's that for a plot twist? Tanushi's helping them out. We gotta figure out what's behind all this, what's going on. I time leap several hours to before the first man arrived at the coin locker. Then I explain the situation to Moeka. My plan is to get ahead of the package. After killing some time at Starbucks, we rent a car. I don't have a license, so Moeka's driving. We go to the street in front of the roundabout, facing Showadori, and park near Yodobashi Camera. Now, we wait. That's... Nervous? That's... You look terrified. How long have you been driving? First time. What? This is your first time? Oh, come on. Just don't crash. I was surprised Moeka got a license in the first place. Apparently FB told her it would come in handy for her rounder work. She does obey FB. I have Moeka wait in the car while I keep a lookout on the roundabout. The white station wagon's already stopped there. From this distance I can clearly see Tanushi in the driver's seat. Nobody else is riding. The crew-cut guy should arrive just after 5 PM. As expected, the crew-cut man arrives right on time, effortlessly dragging the suitcase behind him. It feels weird seeing the exact same scene from a different angle. I hurry back to the car where Moeka's waiting. He's coming! The station wagon rolls past us. He takes a left turn at the Showadori intersection, towards Ukachimachi. Moeka smoothly sets the car in motion. Finally, we arrive at Tanushi's house in Ukachimachi. This is the house where Susua lived. Her rusty old mountain bike is still sitting out front. Tanushi brings the IBN 5100 inside. We stop a little farther down the road and keep watch. What does this mean? Where's FB? The question is, why did he bring it inside? Is he just holding on to it? Or is he FB? Does he know FB? Moeka insists that FB is a woman. Hey there, Mr. Motorcycle. Maybe it's Tanushi's wife, who I've never met. Have Moeka show me one of FB's mails. M4. It's true that you're not very good with people, but I think that's just part of what makes you unique and special. Besides, you have no trouble talking to me, do you? Honestly, M4, there's nobody else who works as hard as you do. I'm very thankful for that. I'm glad you joined the Rounders. Even if nobody else values you, I'll always look out for you. Bullshit. Feel free to email me whenever you like. Oh yes, since you're finally in Nagoya, you should try some of the local delicacies. Yes, quite. It's not good for your health to keep eating convenience store food. Or do you not like miso, M4? In any case, a girl your age needs to eat better. I recommend the firm miso stew. Your next mission is to go to Akihabara in Tokyo, so find an apartment by next week. I deposited a special bonus in your account, so feel free to use it. Talk to you soon. Your mother, FB. Like, I gotta give FB credit for, like, actually replying to Moeka's mails. Like, I could never do that. Man, no. She's kept a lot of mails archived like this one. M4 is my code name. FB gave it to me. Moeka's a mailing machine. She sent FB nearly 10 mails a day, but FB replied to every single one. You'd have to be a saint to reply to all those emails. No wonder Moeka was so dependent on FB. So, time for another stakeout. I have Daru set up a wireless infrared camera on the telephone pole down the street. That's probably legal. We park a couple blocks away and watch the video feed. The next day, Tanushi goes to work on his moped like usual. He returns after sunset. There's no sign of his daughter, Nay, or his wife. Something finally happens early Sunday morning. Just before 3 AM, 6 people show up at Tanushi's house. It's them! It's dark, but I recognize them. They're the Rounders who raided the lab with Moeka. That's... Moeka doesn't show much of a reaction. I thought she knew them. I asked, but she says she's never met him before. It looks like this world line's Moeka has been cut off completely. Were they done with her once she found him in IBN 5100? Tanushi comes outside and loads the IBN 5100 into the station wagon. Then the 6 men get in and drive away. Tanushi sees them off, then goes back inside his house. What now? I'm interested in Tanushi's story, but the IBN 5100 will lead us to FB. We decide to follow the station wagon. The pursuit ends at Narita International Airport. The 6 men, IBN 5100 in tow, board a plane headed for France. France. CERN's home country. What does this mean? Tanushi's wife might be FB. Since there's been no sign of FB this far, she must be an extremely cautious individual, but the evidence suggests only one possibility. On World Line Alpha 1, Moeka's men attacked the night the time leap machine was completed. Their timing was perfect. It makes sense if you assume that Tanushi is closely linked to FB. He was right downstairs the whole time we were discussing our plans. FB knew exactly what we were up to. We were dancing to her tune all along. When we get back to Akiba, Moeka and I start walking towards Tanushi's house. But on the way I get an angry call from Kurisu demanding an update, so I decide to take care of that first. Mayuri. I saw Orion last night. It was really pretty. I hope you were looking up at the same time, because then it would be like we were close by, even if we're really far away. Stars are romantic if you think like that, aren't they? I'm not sure if it's Orion or Orion. Well, is Orion spelled? Orion. I'm not 100. I'm not 100% sure about that. Yeah, I saw it too. First night in a while I've had time to look at the stars. But I don't think it was Orion. That's a winter constellation, you know? Dumb girl. No intelligence at all. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to double check that this recording is working out, not too corrupt. Because I did the other one in just one big recording. And maybe 90 minutes is not good. Like I've done several, like 6 hours before. But it didn't like 90 minutes. That recording looks to be fine. You have no idea the look on my face, just how my smile just faded away when my first reactions were taken. Alright, back in action. Dots. Kurisu sighs when she sees me. I thought I asked you to keep me posted. I've been busy. Busy, right. Kurisu glances at Moeka. You jelly? Were you worried about me? Of course not! Why should I care what you're up to? It's just... Mayuri was really worried. I don't want to see her sad. Dots. So at least give her a call, okay? Now that she mentions it, it feels like I haven't talked to Mayuri in forever. I'm doing this to save Mayuri. I'm close to discovering our true enemy. Our enemy? But... Kurisu glances at Moeka again. Moeka's completely expressionless. She's lightly kicking the dirt in boredom. She hasn't used her phone once since we began the search for FB. Isn't she our enemy? She is an enemy, but we're cooperating in order to uncover the truth. Isn't she the one who killed Mayuri? Yes. However, Moeka's just a pawn and one that no longer poses a threat. And she won't kill Mayuri on this world line. Like, that's what I didn't consider. Like, a lot of people were giving me crap for being so evil against Moeka, but I have a feeling a lot of those people know the whole story and know that, yeah, Moeka is just weak, she's being manipulated, she's being used. But at the time where I was, and like from my point of view at the time, I had a different opinion. But when you know the whole story, it's easier to see the bigger picture here. But yeah, Moeka's really just... She's just a sad story. That's Moeka. To save Mayuri, I need to capture the king. Well, the king's cell phone. Whatever. So where are you going now? Take me with you. Hubba hubba. Have you gone mad, assistant mine? I'm perfectly sane, and I'm not your assistant. It could be dangerous. Eh? Kurisu falters for a moment, but quickly tightens her expression. Do I die today? I've experienced the future, so I know who dies today. No, you don't die. Then there's no problem. This royal line has essentially guaranteed my survival. Right, Kurisu doesn't die today. Neither does Mayuri. The only person who dies today is... Kiryu Moeka. This afternoon, she kills herself. I've already told Moeka her fate. But in spite of that, Moeka doesn't seem upset, at least on the surface. She's expressionless as always. The only difference is that she's not checking her phone as often. But Moeka's not a strong woman. Beneath that expressionless mask, is she struggling against the fear of death? I decide to confront Tanuji directly. I have Kurisu stand guard outside the house while Moeka and I go inside. Not that we're planning to break in. We ring the doorbell like honest citizens. I mean, come on. Tanuji soon opens the door and invites us into the living room. The divergence meter is sitting in its usual spot. I glance at the numbers. 0.523307%. There's still a long way to go before I reach 1%. How much more of this can I take? Make yourselves at home. It's just after dawn. Much too early for guests, but Tanushi welcomes us with a smile. He even starts preparing some instant coffee. I don't actually drink coffee. But still, it's a thought that counts, Tanushi. You're an early riser, Mr. Braun. Yeah, gotta see my little girl off to school. I know it's summer break, but habits die hard. Is your daughter still asleep? Hey, you thinking of trying something while she's sleeping? Touch her and I'll break your head, got it? Why does your mind always wander to the same place, Tanuji? You're so defensive. Don't worry. I'm more interested in his wife. There's still no sign of her. Is she asleep too? Or could she be hiding somewhere? Under the table? Behind the couch? In the closet? Oh, that's creepy. Let's not think about that. I'd like to do a thorough search of the house, but of course that's impossible. And then there's what he said just now about seeing Nay off to school. That sounded like something a single father would say. As I've been saying from the start, I've never had the feeling that his wife was either she was dead or they were divorced, because they never talked about her and Tanushi always took care of Nay. I'm like, that's always what it seemed like to me. I suspected that FB was Tanushi's wife, but that may have been a mistake. Maybe Tanushi's just another courier after all. Maybe he doesn't even know about FB. That would certainly be nice. I don't like imagining that Tanuji, the good, okay, not really good, he has kind of beaten us up a few times, but he's such a good, he's been so good, he's been such a good character, and it's heartbreaking to think that he can be CERN. It's really heartbreaking. There's the possibility that FB might not even be in Akiba. I need answers. But how do I get them? Moeka's just staring at the floor. I can't count on her for any bright ideas. Nothing new there. And whether or not Tanushi's wife is FB, I don't think this man will fall for any tricks. I decide to go for the direct approach. A few hours ago, 6 men stopped by this house to pick up a package, which they then delivered to France. You were there. I saw you. This time, Tanushi doesn't give me his usual macho attitude. He just smiles softly. And? The package contained an IBN 5100. You know what that is, of course. Yeah, the legendary retro PC. This is too easy. He's never this cooperative. Are you just another courier? Or are you a rounder? Dots. Instead of answering my question, Tanushi looks straight at Moeka. Did you betray us, M4? What? Moeka jerks upright. M4 is Moeka's codename, something only FB should know. No. Are you FB? Tanushi laughs once, a dry sound. Ever heard of Ferdinand Braun? Whack and I look at each other, confused by the sudden change of topic. It's very relevant if you just think about it. Come on, he was the Nobel Prize-winning physicist who invented the Braun tube. Tanucci has a thing for Braun tubes, I know that. But what does that have to do with anything? Ferdinand Braun. Initials? FB! Now you get it.